So the PlayStation 6, we've just heard news in the last couple of days that it could be delayed further. And I don't know about you, but I'm fine with that. And I'm looking online, I'm trying to find someone who's actually disappointed by this. Now, even though the PS5 has been out since 2020, it's been 6 years at the end of this year of this generation. And for the last couple of years, even now, it feels like this generation is still underway in terms of games, in terms of exclusives. Now, I'm fine. I think it's been great overall, the games we've got, and the games we've got in 2026 has been amazing. But if you look at PlayStation exclusives, compared to like the PS4 generation, you can tell it's definitely decreased, and we all know it's because of the live service trend. PlayStation were trying to focus and change most of their first-party studios into live service ones. Obviously, that went wrong. They double back round. We're 5 years into this generation, and we still haven't seen any gameplay to Naughty Dog's next game, Intergalactic, the barbershop. And I don't think this is a bad idea because prices are going up everywhere. There are people that are buying a PS5 now, or people are still playing on their PS4. I've upgraded to the PS5 Pro. We're going to talk about the PS5 Pro, how it's trending practically the same as the PS4. But it just feels like if the next generation is going to come out and it's going to cost £1,000, I don't think there's going to be a real big marketplace for people to actually invest if there isn't going to be that much of a difference. So if we have a look here, the PS6 might not be out this decade, says report, and fans are fine with a delay. But here it says, Analyst says Sony are planning on delaying the PS6 even further, but warns too long a gap could be detrimental. I don't know about that, because you look at Nintendo fans have been asking for a Switch 2 for so many years, even a Switch refresh. And I remember every year the Switch has come in, there's a leak on the Switch, and it just never did. And then we got that OLED Switch, and then all of a sudden people were like, really? It's not even powerful than the original Switch? They waited a very long time to release their next generation console because it felt like the Switch was doing absolutely amazing. It felt like there was no reason to. And it's only because, like, with the Nintendo Switch, you can see it was getting very old in that hardware. Like, games were struggling to run, other developers were struggling to get their games on that Switch if they're going to release on like the PS5 or Xbox. Based on how past console generations have worked, you'd normally expect the PlayStation 5 to have run its course by now, and we're on the cusp of the PS6 launching in the next year or two. Despite it being more than 5 years old, many feel the PlayStation 5 hasn't reached its peak. In fact, while the console is enjoying strong sales, it's a commentary that it has no games, which has more a complaint about its lack of major first-party exclusives. I totally understand gamers when they say there hasn't been that much PS5 exclusive games. Now, arguably, the gap is closing between the console wars. We're getting Forza, we're getting Fable. I'm really enjoying Forza 5 at the minute. I can't wait to play Forza 6. But when you look at Sony, what they were so popular, what they built their brand with the PS4 and the PS3, is they had a lot of incredible exclusive games. Now, we look at Ben's studio with Days Gone. We've seen that they've brought absolutely nothing because of that cancelled live service. Blue Point Games were working on a live service God of War game when they made an incredible remake with Demon Souls. We haven't seen anything else apart from that launch game. Naughty Dog have been releasing freaking more remasters than boats coming over to the UK. And then you look at other studios with, House Marquee? Did I get that right? They're finally bringing out their sequel to Returnal with Saros, and it looks absolutely amazing. I'm trying to think of other PS5 first-party studios. Obviously, we had God of War Ragnarok, an incredible game, an absolutely amazing game. So, with the length of some of these games, you can understand it might be a game of generation, but they need to sort that out. You look at Insomniac, they bought out Miles Morales, they've brought out Spider-Man 2, they're bringing out Wolverine. I feel like it's no excuse to some of these first-party studios that they cannot do it. Arguably, Insomniac are PlayStation's most trustworthy and most precious studio. As such, some argue that it's still too soon for the PS6 to come. There've already been rumblings of a delay for Sony's next console, but it's now suggested that a delay could be longer than anticipated. So this comes from a report by games analyst Dave Gibson on Sandstone Insights Japan, which touches upon Sony's third quarter results for the 2025 fiscal year. Sony won't be sharing the results itself until February 5th, but Gibson estimates that the company's gaming division has had another strong quarter with another 8.5 million PS5 sales thanks to Christmas discounts. Gibson adds, however, that Sony now expects the PlayStation 5's lifecycle to be longer than the previous generation, in reference to the PS4. That console launched in 2013, and although it's yet to be officially discontinued, it did fade away by 21, only to be resurrected in 22 to counteract the PlayStation 5 stock issues. It's true that Sony's preparing to keep in support on the PS5 beyond 2028, with Gibson suggesting that the PS6 could be pushed back even later. He doesn't estimate a potential release year, only adding that too long a delay for new hardware invites long-term risks. And when they mentioned there about the stock, I remember I wanted a PS5 at launch. I didn't get mine until around February, and I had to be at my computer. And then it felt like everyone else, my friends, everyone online couldn't get a PlayStation 5. So you can understand why people just thought, screw it, I'm getting a PS4. But unlike the PS4, I remember mine was levitating with the amount of heat it was producing from playing some of these games. I remember putting on The Last of Us Part 2. Despite what I think of that game, it is a graphically incredible game. Even Spider-Man 1, my PlayStation was just nearly giving up. God of War 2018, I played that and it was just about giving up. So you can understand that from the PS4, it felt like they needed a refresh. It felt like they needed that next generation console. And for me at the moment with the PS5 Pro and even with the PS5, it feels like we're getting 60 FPS on most games. So it doesn't feel like, oh, we need better graphics. Like, I've never seen amazing graphics like the graphics we've been getting, even with like Ghost of Yotei, even with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, we've got Death Stranding 2. There are so many games that have been graphically impressive that I don't look at the next generation and think, we need better graphics. So then he does say he estimates a potential release year, only adding that too long a delay for new hardware invites long-term risks. It would make plenty of sense for Sony to hold back its PS6, but rising costs could mean the console is going to be very expensive, and not everyone is going to be eager to jump ship from PS5 to PS6. Not to mention that there's an ongoing memory shortage, which is expected to persist in 2027 and is making RAM an even more expensive commodity. Gibson brings that this report, and while he thinks the higher prices will not affect business performance in the short term, they stand to become problematic by next year. He doesn't touch upon GTA 6 launch, which is bound to drive up hardware sales for the PS5 when it arrives in November. Sony wouldn't want to cap any momentum for the PS5 by trying to push a brand new console. GTA 6 delays have had a frequent source of frustration for fans and the wider industry, but the prospect of PS6 delay seems to be far less contentious. And I've seen online, and people have said online that they are hoping that they do delay this console. And I really do freaking hope that they do, because I'm not sitting here waiting to, or eager to spend another £700 plus, maybe even £1,000 for a next generation console. And I wouldn't get one if I feel like it's not justified. Now, we've been for every generation and we're like, you know what? I'm ready for this next generation. You can tell the hardware's getting old, you know, the loading screens. It feels like I'm just really enjoying gaming right now. And there would be no reason to jump ship to the next generation unless it's a Days Gone 2. The only way they would do it is if there was exclusive games that were not on the PS5 that were just on the PS6, but I don't think Sony would do that because of the large install base. It's very hard to think why it could be detrimental, because it feels like the prices are going up. It feels like the AI bubble is bursting, that's for sure. Things are going well with like the PS Portal. People are finding easier ways to play their games. PS Portal peaks in USA with highest PS5 console attach rate yet. 7% of PS5 owners in USA have a PS Portal. The handheld streaming device PS Portal continues to go from strength to strength as it reaches its highest PS5 console attach rate in the USA. So it says here 49% of PS5 and 66% of XBS hardware sales in 25 did not include a physical media drive. 13% of PS5 purchases in 25 were of Pro models, and the Portal now has a 7% attach rate to PS5 hardware. I think you're all surprised like me in terms of the PS Portal. Like, it has surprised a hell of a lot of people. I was gifted one and I do play it quite a lot. I was very surprised how good it is. And now with that premium membership, you can stream PS5s directly from PlayStation servers. And the quality is unbelievable if you've got a great internet connection. So the fact that it's making it easier for people to play their games, you have to think, why would people want to upgrade and spend even more money in a world where things are so expensive, food is expensive, and gaming is as a hobby is getting very freaking expensive. Even with the PS5 Pro, despite the price, it's enjoying a very respectful 2025 in the USA. The system is right in line with the PS4 Pro, which accounted for around 13% of the PS4's lifetime sales in America. And then obviously it's remembering that the PS5 Pro is worth $749 or £700, so it's much more expensive than the PS4. So either way, it demonstrates a successful strategy for Sony. It's clear that there is a market for a more powerful piece of hardware, and sales could increase further this year if the system's PSSR upgrades represent a sizable improvement. And that just makes you think, we haven't even got the best out of the PlayStation 5 Pro. So why would I want to jump ship and try and pay more money to get a PS6 when we haven't even got the full benefits of the PS5 Pro? And arguably, GTA 6 is going to come out end of this year and it's going to break records. It's going to sell consoles. I wouldn't be surprised if it would be hard to get a PS5 Pro if it's confirmed that GTA 6 will be running at 60 FPS. I would be very, very surprised if GTA 6 doesn't run 60 FPS on the PS5 Pro. It makes you think, what is the point? I think it would run 30 FPS on base consoles and then 60 FPS on the PS5 Pros. But what do you think about this delay to the PS6? Are you even bothered? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know. This is one of my last videos until we have the baby, so this channel will be seeing daily videos on here, so make sure you subscribe and I'll see you soon. Play a bit of Forza.